Treasure for Charles Thibodeau. See him coming out of the swap shop, my arms full of a load. I stop and say, "Hey, looks like you're having a day." And he pauses, his eyes smile as he recognizes me, even though I'm wearing a mask. His arms are full too, shaking a bit. He asks, "Hey, how have you been through all this?" I can't answer as he went on. "I was on the edge of a nervous breakdown. But the swap shop helps. It helps, doesn't it? You know what? It makes you forget what you can't take back. The thing about it is that you have to bring some things back. Otherwise it becomes too much." When I rode away, thoughts of Charles that day and when I needed him. Back when I was breaking down myself. Back when I first moved to Wellfleet and I needed a place to live. Back when I'd come to his studio. Maybe you've seen it on Jaquesset, that little shed of falling down, signs all around. And there would be a fire going on inside. A little too hot for that little hut. It wasn't much, but it was his. His space, and I was always welcome. And I longed to have a space like his to call my own. Charles told me that he had been divorced too, and that his ex-wife was a bitch. But then he met and married Candace, and she says proudly in her own southern accent, "It lasted." And Charles says, "You know, I like to be by myself. But you know what? I know I just can't be by myself. Otherwise, you know what it is, Andy? I blame the corporations. But really, you know what it is? It's all about denial." Candace had just told him that the roof is leaking again and that he really needs to have another yard sale. And she spoke with me too and said that I needed to get some of my stuff out of her basement. I told her, "I'm just like Charles." And she said, "That's what I'm afraid of." Charles and I would talk, not for hours really, but seemingly always the perfect amount of time. And he would ask me, "Hey, are you working now?" And then go on without my answer. Feels nice to be working again, doesn't it? At that time, I hadn't been, but I'd been searching every day. And eventually I got a job at Churro Vineyards. And I was selling the house in Portland too, the one that I'd worked on for 7 years. Just working through my own throwaway, letting go. But now I'm more sorted out, I think. Lived here on Cape Cod for 9 years now, and I have a year-round rental. Jesus, that was a struggle, and now I'm just realizing that maybe now I have too much. Seems I'm always sorting through. Charles, I think I'm ready. Let's have a yard sale. I'm ready to take back what treasure is. I think that's what he meant. Thank you. So for Charles and Candace. When I first moved to Wellfleet to be near my daughter, Candace and Charles gave me a place to live. I was in a bad way, going through a divorce and needed somewhere close by and in town. I answered their ad on Craigslist. A picture of a bedroom and a little kitchen. It looked cozy. Seemed much larger in the picture, though. I remember going to look at it, and I was afraid that they were going to ask me all kinds of questions like, you know, what normal landlords do. They ask you all kinds of stuff. Credit check, pay stubs, first, last, security deposit, all that. But when I turned around, Candace and Charles were both standing together in the kitchen with the Jackson Pollock painted wooden floor, and Charles said to me, "This is your place now." Charles once caught me coming back from work one day and said, "Hey, what are you doing home?" And I paused and had no answer. His eyes lit up. "Hey, your girlfriend's here, isn't she?" "Ah, you shitting me? You came back for a nooner." I think Charles and I are very similar in that we both have dirty minds, and we both also need constant supervision. Candace is a good match for him. She calls him her beloved. He gets off topic and off tangents, and once I caught him in the dumpster at the dump and said, "Hey, what are you doing down there?" And he says, "I don't give a shit. If I see something, I'm going for it." Seems like that's the way he is with Candace too. There's more to it, and it's their story to tell, but I do know that they both made something together after they both had broken marriages. So when I see Charles now around town or at the swap shop, I always stop and talk with him. And it's always right where we left off. It's been 9 years since I lived in that small studio apartment off of their house where my daughter slept in the hallway next to the bathroom on the floor, and that little kitchen with the painted Jackson Pollock floor and the little bistro table with 2 stools and sometimes 3 when my girlfriend Corey came to visit me. And that metal bed and the soft comforter and oh, that little TV with the VCR and the movies from the swap shop. Quite a collection, Candace and Charles. I watched them all.